Hello, and welcome to the Texas Tamale team. This is an instructional video on how to conduct a demo for our company, no matter where you may be located around the country or the world. And we're going to cover 3 topics today. First off, supplies that you're going to need, as well as how to set up your table. Second, we're going to cover 3 different ways to cook the tamales, depending on the type of equipment that you have at your disposal. And lastly, we're going to cover some top selling points for our products, as well as brief information about the company. Now let's get started. First off, you need a tablecloth. Doesn't matter the color. I have a red one just because it goes along with the company, but it's completely up to you. Just make sure that you cover the front end of the table so that nobody can see the extra supplies that you're hiding underneath. Alright. And then we should have sent you a Texas Tamale sign. This is a sign that we created that kind of highlights some key selling points so that people can read it as they're going by and they're aware of what products you're sampling today. Next, you're going to need a cutting board so that you can cut up the tamales into different pieces to be able to sample them out. Next, obviously you're going to need some napkins, make it a little messy. You're going to need some sample spoons. You're going to need some sample cups. Now you can either use 1 or 2 ounce. These are 2 ounce cups and they fit 1/3 of a tamale very well. Of course, for sanitation purposes, you're also going to need some polyurethane gloves. Any type of glove will do, but we want to make sure that we're not contaminating food. Next, of course, along those lines, you're going to need a hat or hairnet, as well as some form of an apron. Now you do not have to have a Texas flag apron, but it is preferred. Next, you're going to need an extension cord. Probably the equipment that you're using is going to pull a lot of power and you may not be right next to an outlet, so always make sure that you have one of these with you. Next, we also should have sent you some empty product bags. This is an easy way for people to see what the products look like, so that when they go to the shelf, they know what they're looking for. This is especially important if the demo location that you're given is not necessarily right next to our product. This is going to really help you to up your sales numbers. The last item that you will need is some form of trash can. You will be throwing away a fair amount of the corn husks that the tamales are wrapped in. That includes all the supplies, and so let's get started with the cooking methods. Alright, now we're going to cover the cooking methods. First one we're going to cover is the preferred method. Now this is with some form of steamer. What we have here is a Presto Pot multi-cooker, but any vegetable steamer will work. Essentially what you need is a pot that's going to generate some heat, as well as a basket that's going to lift the tamales off of the water so that obviously they don't get soaked. All you're going to have to do is fill about 1 inch or 2 of water inside the pot, and you're good to go. Turn it up to about 200-250 degrees, just enough so that the water will boil and begin to steam the tamales, and you're good to go. Now, after a few minutes, you can see that our Presto Pot is the water is boiling and it's all ready to go for the tamales. Now at this point, you can turn down the heat just a little bit. We want to keep it hot enough so that the steam continues to flow through the tamales, but not so much to where we're boiling through all of our water. So let's go ahead and show you how to put the tamales in an ideal fashion. Of course, we're going to put on our gloves to make sure that we're following all the food handler certification policies. Now with the tamales, we're only doing about 2 different flavors today. We're going to do a chicken and we're going to do a beef. We do have 5 flavors though. We have the spinach, we have the beef, we have the chicken, the pork, and of course the black bean. Now, in a vegetable steamer, if you have one upright like this, the best way to put the tamales in there are standing straight up. Now the key to that is one end of the tamale is open and the other end of the tamale has the corn husk fold. Now you want to have the corn husk fold at the bottom for 2 reasons. 1, so that you can see what kind of tamale it is, and 2, so that when you pick the tamale up, it doesn't just slide out on you. Now you put them in. I like to put them around the edges, with the corn husk fold down, of course. And then you can separate them out by type. Now granted, we only have two flavors today, But typically you'd have this pot full for the most part, but you can have them separated out by type so it's a lot easier to tell which ones are which. Alright, after you have them aligned and you make sure that the tamales are not touching the water, put on the lid and wait about 10 to 15 minutes. Alright, so after about 10 minutes, you can go ahead and check on your tamales to see if they're done. The best way to tell is if you pinch the middle of the tamale. If it's tender to the touch, obviously not frozen anymore, and a little hot to the touch, you know they're ready to serve. Now the easiest way to pull the tamales out of this type of steamer is to pinch the top of the corn husk. If you pull it there, the fold at the bottom should keep the tamale intact, thus making it a very easy way to pull the tamale out of the basket and ready to serve. Now the next method we're going to cover is with an electric skillet. This is a little bit more of a makeshift steamer option, but it'll still work just fine for you. Alright, so right here we have a typical electric skillet that most companies should have for you to use. The only thing that we've done is we've changed it up a little bit. We've thrown in a cookie cooling rack inside just to lift the tamales off the water. So it's to mimic the steamer that we had earlier with the basket. That's what this guy's purpose is serving here. Now it appears that it is hot enough and we can go ahead and begin throwing the tamales in there. So with these guys, you're not going to want to stand them up because obviously it won't fit. These guys, it's just as easy or just as effective if you lay them down on the rack, just like so, kind of alternating, keeping them spread out from each other so that they steam evenly. And just like the last one, once you get them all in there, wait about 10 or 15 minutes and they should be ready to serve. Alright, after about 10 or 15 minutes, we can go ahead and check on our tamales. Just as we did with the steamer, go ahead and pinch the middle, and if it's soft, tender to the touch, you know they're ready to be served. Now, you don't have to grab the tamale at the top like we did before. You can go ahead and just grab it in the middle. What I do suggest though is that you keep the open end towards the top and the fold at the bottom so that the tamale does not accidentally fall out into the water. Now, the last way of cooking the tamales we're going to go over is with the microwave. And while this is not the optimal way of cooking the tamales, it'll do just fine for demo purposes. Alright, now for the microwave method, you're going to need two things. Not a rack or a basket, but you are going to need a microwave safe container and a wet paper towel. Now what this paper towel is going to do is we're going to wrap the tamales up in it, and it's going to somewhat generate steam as the microwave heats it up, mimicking what the electric skillet or the steamer would do. Get these guys all lined up properly. There we go. We're going to kind of wrap them up just as you would a little kid in bed, tucking them in at night, making sure they're all happy and good to go. Place them in our microwave safe container. Now we're going to snap this shut, but only on 3 corners. You're going to leave one corner open so that some air and steam can escape. Place it in our microwave. And then depending on the power of your microwave, it's going to be anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. We're going to start off with 3 minutes and see how they go. Alright, just as our tamales are finishing up, we're going to check and see if they're done. There we go. Pull this guy out. Careful, it's a little warm. Whew. Try and pinch it. Oh, nice and tender. Be careful, that paper towel is going to be piping hot. Now we're going to pull these guys out and I'll demonstrate how to properly serve the tamales. Alright, now that we have our tamales all heated up and ready to go, let's go ahead and practice serving one. We're going to go ahead and pull it out. We're going to unravel the corn husk. This is not something you want to serve with the tamale. And then since I'm using a 2-ounce cup, we are going to cut it up into thirds. Go ahead and grab our knife, go ahead and slice down, do it 1/3, about 1/3, throw the tamale piece in the cup, and then we're going to top it with either a Chilean queso, or if you don't have our Chilean queso, you can use any salsa in the store that they provide you with. Go ahead and take a little of that guy. Top tamale with the Chilean queso. Give them a sample spoon and it's all ready to serve. Alright, we're on to the last section of our video. Man, we've covered a lot of things today. Went over all the supplies you're going to need for your demo, how to properly lay out your table, 3 different methods of cooking the tamales, as well as preparing the tamales for serving. Now I want to give you a little bit of information about our company and our products, so that you know who you're representing in the stores. Texas Tamale Company was founded in 1985. It was originally a family-owned business where they sold tamales on street corners and outside of local businesses. Now, over the past 10 years, we've expanded into grocery store chains across the country. Our company is located in the great state of Texas, and our product is produced right here in Houston. Now, all of our products, the tamales, the chili, and the queso, are all gluten-free, they're made without lard, and they contain 0 grams of trans fats. What a winning combination. Our products are great for any type of family gathering, sporting event, or gift, especially during the holiday season. Now, if you or your customers have any further questions, please refer to texastamale.com, where we have a whole section devoted to that. I'd like to thank you for your time and attention today. I hope your demo is a huge success. And please remember, it's not a real tamale unless it's a Texas tamale.